just for your utilization at your campus, is there something that needs to be changed right away? And I am speaking in the software sense at this point.
Well, with the model that we use for students to apply the tickets, we use the bookstore model,
Mm-hmm.
buy back and all that sort of thing. Because of the causes that I mentioned earlier, it
Mm-hmm.
really is a big obstacle for us to promote the use of clickers in a much bigger way. Our faculty, many faculty are interested in using it, trying it out, but we don't have any way of providing them with a clicker set as such. They have to go and
Sure.
ask the students to make that investment, and many of them are very hesitant. At the same time, because of the different textbook publishers that they're using,
Mm-hmm.
there are always other publisher who is trying to sell them or tell them to use other systems and such, and it's always a challenge.
It's hard to keep control of that too, especially from a support standpoint.
Right.
Oh yeah, we've seen that.
We do not support other systems right now, but they still was asking, well, why are we using this versus something else?
Sure.
Cost less, that sort of thing.
Sure. I see. So in your case, at least a need for you, Lorna, is maybe a lower cost device or a lower cost system. Okay. And
I think that's important to the instructor is thinking that, but when the student starts getting presented with, there's 4 systems you need to buy because you've got 4 different.
Yeah, we roll it out since day one. Yeah, it's not working.
That would be a problem. Yeah.
Sure. Is there anything else in terms of an immediate need? What about a nice to have need? Something that'd be nice to have but wouldn't be crucial.
I've looked at a voice software. It's called Pronto, and it's basically it synchronizes with the campus, let's say WebCT system that they're on. Maybe to have something where campus purchases a license, and then they are able to synchronize WebCT courses with student IDs, and then I mean to that basically so they can sorry, I'm trying to think out loud as I'm talking.
That's okay.
But the reason for that, they can create the better with the interaction, but then they can export the results to the WebCT course for the students without having to go through so much work filtering through. They just have it right there.
Yeah. When you say exporting results, are you referring to say a graded score?
Yeah.
With WebCT?
Mm-hmm. Because I know like Respondus, you can you create questions and then it formulates into an actual quiz or exam in WebCT.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think something like that. Let's say they take a quiz with
to do something what Respondus does.
Yeah.
Is basically create some type of exam within TurningPoint and push that exam into the WebCT application for polling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a possibility, and it's something that we've actually been discussing with another course management system that offers similar functionality. And it's interesting that you brought that up because we really weren't sure of the immediate need for that. That's something you would consider be a nice-to-have feature? An integration with the course management systems, that's an area of very high interest to us, just because we realize that that's really the centerpiece for education, for those schools that really embrace it, posting homework, grades, all those kind of things. Okay. Is there anything else anyone would like to add to that? And as you can see, these are the type of questions that I have to ask, and I really appreciate you giving me your feedback on that. This is a question that I actually was while we were sitting in on the main section. We had the 3 speakers up at the top, and I was the one that submitted the question asking them: has student response systems entice those instructors who typically will not use technology? I'd like to know, in your estimation, what you think are the actual percentage of instructors that will utilize technology, period. How many do you think will? As compared, say, take the whole, or at least the faculty members that you may associate or work with, what is the percentage of them that would be willing to use technology in the classroom? Did I get everyone's response? So you think that it's 50% or more? Do you? You don't feel the same way? No. No. What do you feel? You would pick 10 to 25% of the instructors, and the rest would probably not be willing to use technology. Okay, it's interesting. Because we often look at what's the percentage of classes that are utilizing technology. But I'm also starting to look at, or wanting to look at, what percentage of those classes will actually consider using technology, any technology. And part of a product manager's job is to provide some feedback on our new and upcoming products. And I know some of you have seen or heard over the last 2 days some of these things, but no hardware wizard. And that might be one of the items that was a concern to you, Lorna, at the beginning, is the actual hardware wizard setting it up. We're going to do away with that and just make for a very simplified system, make it very easy and almost really a true plug-and-play type of application. You plug in your receiver if it's not already plugged in, and you just go ahead and begin polling.
Can I tell them about this?
Sure.
You currently support other companies' hardware. Will that continue to be the case once you get rid of the wizard?
At this point, it will probably discontinue. We've contemplated that in the past, and those other companies that we supported, they no longer regard us as allies, and it's just not become to have that additional support in there. We did find it of value to 03, TurningPoint 2003, and TurningPoint 2006, but in order for us to really make this the easiest application we can, we had to just kind of go down to one piece of hardware. Don, did you want to add something to that?
Curious, what hardware are you using? That's the EPS. The blue one. EPS? Okay. Yeah. And you're using the infrared? Yeah. So, how many are you using? We've got 2 sets for you. You want to? Yeah. For infrared. Let's go.
There you go. Yeah, we don't want to lose your business, of course. But in order for us to really make it as simplified as possible, and over 90, probably 95% or higher of our end users are just currently using response card. And some of those other systems, most of higher ed has moved to an RF or is moving to some of the newer devices. So we just made a decision that we want it to be as easy as possible with our response card users, and that's why we decided to go that route. We've also decided to go ahead and start bringing in all students' responses as opposed to just those who are in a participant list. What we found was that due to the difficulties in getting an accurate, up-to-date participant list, that students' responses would be omitted or would be left out, and they may not receive credit. In order to prevent that, we've gone ahead and we're going to develop or it's already pretty much been developed, is a system where we will have a list, and then students' responses who come in that are not in the list will be appended to the bottom. And therefore, you will have a record of their score, and they will be able to get credit at that point. We will also be able to merge session files now, so that you could actually take multiple sessions, let's say 10 different session files, and get one aggregate score for the students in there. Yeah, we didn't really have a true merging capability in TurningPoint 2006, and this is really going to simplify the accumulation of points that instructors will do. It will make it easier for them to get, say, one score for multiple sessions.
Are you talking about merging multiple sessions? If you're teaching 3 sections and merging, and with the same PowerPoint file, with the same TurningPoint file?
Yes.
You're merging in 3 sections with all the students?
Yes. I believe that it will do that. Is that correct, Jameson? It will merge sessions even with different participant lists.